You're listening to the Practical Wealth Show with Curtis May, putting you in the driver's seat to control your finances. Let's start the Practical Wealth Talk about alternatives to Wall Street.
Okay. Hey, everybody. This is Curtis May. Welcome to another episode of the Practical Wealth Show, where we talk about money. You know, it's my favorite subject. So what we're going to talk about today, guys, if you're a small business owner, want to be in business, which you should all be, but today I'm going to reach out to the small business owner. So, you know, we talk about our money for life process: get money, bank it, borrow it, spend it, repay it. So today we're going to talk about getting money. And, you know, as we say, the first, and I'll just remind this, you know, your number one asset is you. You got to invest in your mindset, your skill set, and your network. Your number one investment is your business. So within that, by far, the number one investment that you should be making in your number one investment is in marketing. All right. And so I have a special guest today, Mr. Donte Murphy, and he has a marketing firm called Conglomerate Marketing. And so I said, look, I want you to, you know, share some actionable stuff with our listeners out there. And so we've titled this show, 5 Tips to Grow Your Small Business by 25% in 90 days or so. Okay. But any growth is good. But so Donte, say hello to everybody out there.
Hello, how you doing?
We are doing fine. So we've known each other a little over a year. We met at a business breakfast. And so give us, first of all, before we get into it, tell us a little bit about your background and, you know, how you got into this and, you know, what you enjoy about it and, you know, what do you help companies do?
Sure. Yeah, my name is Donte Murphy. I'm the Chief Marketing Director of Conglomerate Marketing Agency. I've been doing marketing for about 10 years. I guess what definitely makes me special in my career is having that unique approach to marketing that's always had proven success. I'm very involved in email marketing, data analytics, and using those things together to help you automate a lot of the things that you have in your business, develop good processes and systems that allow small business owners to move out of a owner-operator space and be able to actually live the lifestyle of a business owner. And Conglomerate Marketing Agency is effectively one of the New Jersey's leading small business marketing agencies. We're very solution and sales oriented. We focus on activities that positively impact your bottom line. Our objective is really to find solutions to your challenges, increase sales, decrease costs, automate, and standardize your business.
Okay. Well, so that's a mouthful. So let's talk about, so what did you start out with? How did you, start creating successes for people? Therefore, I'm going to start a business. Let's talk about that for a second before we move into what you're doing.
Sure. So if you date back 10 years, I was in college up in Providence, Rhode Island. Very hands-on learner, and marketing has always been something I've been very interested in since I was young. So one of the reasons why I went to the university I went to is that they immerse you immediately inside of your major instead of doing a lot of core classes the first 2 years. Mm-hmm. As I mentioned, I'm a very hands-on learner, so once I learn these things, I need to be able to apply them immediately. So I took the initiative and worked with a lot of small businesses that were in the area to implement a lot of the same skills that I was learning, like email marketing, branding, graphic design, public relations, and things of that nature, social media. So after taking what I was learning and applying it in real life, I found a lot of success with small businesses and opened up a lot of opportunities for me once I graduated. I worked with quite a few large companies directly, and then from there, it led to me consulting for large corporations. As much as I love working with corporations and being able to see the changes I can make and significant improvements with the use of marketing and systems, a lot of the issues that small businesses face, they don't have access to those budgets, resources, or even specialists in the various areas. So a lot of times they miss out on a lot of the things that make large corporations, they give large corporations advantages in the marketplace. So dating back to what I was doing with small businesses, I wanted to be able to provide that same marketing sophistication I provide to corporations, to small businesses. I have a few other consultants that are passionate as well, and they provide their area of expertise to our clients.
Okay, so let's talk about some of the, so marketing is, basically figuring out where, the people that I call the who, where are the fish, right? Who are the fish?
Yes.
And how to get the fish into your boat, or at least, which is a process. You got to have the right bait and, all that kind of stuff. So I don't eat fish. I don't know where I'm getting all these fishing analogies, but it's different than honey. And so let's talk about maybe 2 or 3 mistakes that you see people making with their marketing. And then let's talk about, let's run through maybe some of the top 4 or 5 tips that, people could, if you got a small business, some things that you could, easy money that's lying out there on your table at low-hanging fruit of things that you can improve on right away. So what are some mistakes people are not doing? I know he's helped me with some email marketing stuff because I just wasn't getting, all my stuff was going to spam. So he sent me an email one time, hey, congratulations, you made it to the Google, what was I did for the alpha that I got first. First I made it to promotions, and then I think, did I get all the way over to the main one time?
The primary inbox.
Right, the primary inbox. So stuff like that, because if stuff don't get delivered, nobody's going to see your brilliant stuff. So, but talk about that. I hear one, but I want you to say it, and we'll follow up on. Like, people don't think they think email is dead.
Yes, definitely. So let's start with that first. Email marketing, based on the report that Salesforce did, had an ROI of $38 for every dollar spent, which boasts the largest ROI of any marketing channel or type. Now, as consumers, we're probably thinking, those listening, they're like, I barely pay attention to what's going on inside of my email box. But the reality is that you are. Most of the emails that go inside of your email box, you don't pay attention to. But there are those that catch your eye and those that, you're most interested in. Now, your objective as far as email marketing is to better understand your consumers. What are the subject lines? What are the topics? What are the issues that you're trying to solve that's going to grab their interest, once your message comes to their inbox. Mm-hmm. One minor thing I remember doing many years ago with a small business, it was a performing arts center up in Rhode Island, and they were averaging somewhere around 40-something% ticket sales for the different shows that they had going on. And it was really bad numbers, and they really were trying to boost it up. And one thing I did is, outside of various things of email marketing, different design, different call to action, things like that. But just one minor thing, thinking back again, most people aren't paying attention to their emails, and how can you get your email in front of them, was to identify the times people were opening their email. So I reworked all outbound emails to correlate directly with the times that the person's average times the last 3 emails are open. So that was a really long process. But the few thousand email subscribers, we put them in a certain hours, and then we blasted it out. So those emails that were going out prior to making that change, they were getting around 17% open rate. When we did that, they went up to 67%. Now, if you're looking at 67% compared to 17%, obviously that's a very large increase, and those numbers are nice. But what's most important is, when you're looking at data, which is extremely important in marketing, as you want to constantly grow, is if 17%, let's just say 17% open rate usually led to 20% of ticket sales. Mm-hmm. Now you move over to 60%, you're talking about doing 4 times as much, 3-4 times as much. So that minor change went from 47 to the following 2 shows to be sold out completely. This is why it's extremely
And this
important
is
to have
tweaking a list.
solid email.
Yeah, you're just tweaking
The
a list.
same
This
email
is
list.
one you already have. This is just reworking.
Yeah, same
Yeah.
people.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Just minor tweaks, huge difference.
So, folks, that's called found money off a list you already have. Keep going. That's perfect.
Yeah, that's the low-hanging fruit.
Mm-hmm. Of getting better, looking at your data, or getting somebody to help you look at your data. Most of y'all ain't going to do that, so you need help. Okay, and but looking at your data. First of all, let's back up. How about let's get an email list? All right, and because I have been telling people to get a database till I'm blue in the face. I'm in the insurance and financial industries where I play. I've got people I've known for 15 years. Where do you put your names and numbers? And you got to develop it. See, because don't tell me how many followers you have on Twitter or how many people like your face or Instagram. You don't own any of those platforms. So that is traffic you control, but it's when you're on your list, you got to get them into your list, which is now traffic you own. Is that right? And that you get to, now you can, that like you, that want to hear your stuff and have given you permission because they've opted in to market to them. And so people don't get the order in which this stuff, there's a path, so you got to get them off of Instagram and on your list. You're still going to meet them through Instagram, but you want to get, your newsletter, and you want to go deeper with them and that kind of stuff. So that step one is, that's a tip. You got to build your email list because they're still profitable. That is still the foundation of most internet marketers, is their list. And a lot of people, take that for granted or don't think it's a big deal. Everybody you meet, you should be putting them in I don't care what it is, but something where you get their name, number, and email, and you follow up with them. The fortune is in the follow-up. Go ahead, Donte. So let's talk about what's this. You any more on that point? That was brilliant.
Sure. I can touch a little bit more on that.
Go ahead.
I kind of wanted to mention that a little bit more as something that you can start tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
As you mentioned earlier, the objective is to turn your followers and your customers into people that are on your email list. You want to turn them into subscribers.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the things I do for small businesses that helps them realize the value of it is literally just a paper sign-up form at their business location. People can say, hey, we're going to give out coupons next month so you can save on your, that shirt you just bought. We're going to do 20% next month, sign up on our email list. Or I have a lot of repair shops. It's like, hey, if you want to save this or get free oil change, sign up today. And they get people that are in there all day, every day. And then when you start to see the amount of subscribers that accumulate, and then you drop them into an email program, and those same people who are in there are now repeat business, you really see the value that it had. And it's the same thing with social media. 10,000 social media followers is an amazing number, but if you're not monetizing that list of followers, it really doesn't have much value other than, social proof that there are people out in the world who care about your business or, whatever it is that you're doing.
Right. And it's more ego for you because you think you got all these followers, but, I care about the cash register,
Absolutely.
And it's all about conversions. It's all about, return on your investment, which is not going to happen right away, folks. You can't plant a seed and harvest it on the same day, but, it's a process. And, okay, keep going with that. Cause that's because that's really one of your areas of, you have a lot, but expertise or specialty is email marketing. Is that right?
That is absolutely correct.
Okay.
That is, there's two things I extremely excel in.
Mm-hmm.
One is email marketing, how to constantly improve it and increase the amount of revenue you can generate from it.
Mm-hmm.
And then two, also alongside of that is being able to automate a lot of it. So you can generate more referrals, more reviews, and kind of just alter the email experience that you have with your list. And the second side of that is really being able to put together good systems and processes as far as marketing is concerned. So again, you can constantly increase the amount of revenue that you're generating. with your business, more areas of marketing than just email.
Yeah, so let's talk about that, because you want to own a business, not a job. And most people own a job, and so you have to get yourself out of the way, so to speak. And you want to help. You have to, like, even sometime if you invest in somebody like Donte to help you with this stuff, it's not a cost. It is an investment, because if somebody can grow your opens from 17 to 60%, and you figure, $50 a ticket, and you sold out 2 shows or whatever, you know what I mean? You have to turn that into money. That is he made that person more money than he cost them. And so that's an investment. And marketing should be an investment, not a cost, right? And then automate that. Now you've got a cash machine. See, once you got a cash machine, then you need to come see me, because I'm gonna show you how to bank it. But you got to get it first. That's why we start out with, get money, right? And so I want you to be able to grow your revenue so that I can help you save it and become financially independent. Right. So we'll plug for Practical Wealth Solution. But let's talk about automation. So when you say automation, what do you mean? What types of things that business owners aren't doing that they could automate, and maybe name a tool or two that your favorite tools to do that with?
Sure. For small businesses starting out, I definitely recommend MailChimp first and foremost over all other platforms. One, because of the ease of use. There's a lot of different templates for various type of emails you may be looking to send, and you can activate the automated option for $10 a month. Mm-hmm. And with the free version, you can still get, I think it's 2,500 email subscribers before they charge you anything, and you don't have to put a credit card or anything like that on hold until then. You can just put your information in, add your business info.
Yeah, use it. You can do broadcast emails, autoresponders, and landing pages.
Yeah.
For up to 2,000 people.
For free.
And
it's a really good tool. So as far as automation is concerned, so here's the type of things that you can automate. Here's an example. Someone just joins your email list. You can develop a welcome series that helps them better understand who you are as a brand, your company, what you're all about. Maybe the follow-up email is finding more about that particular customer or client to better understand, what their needs are, how you can add value to them, get a better, grasp on what they're doing maybe within your business, depending on how your business is set up. And then also maybe that follows up with a third email or a fourth email offering them a deal to see if you can get them in to make a purchase from just moving on your list. Mm-hmm. And then after that, that's a piece of email nurturing, which email nurturing really is all about. And developing an email program that correlates directly or aligns right alongside of what your sales cycle is. So, now that I got you in here, we want to pique your interest. We want to get develop a better rapport with you as a prospect or a customer, and move you across various steps of the sales cycle to finally make a purchase and then bring you back through again. So, you can use email nurturing, as I mentioned, with the welcome series. As soon as someone comes in, you can use it for, when you're trying to get a referral out of someone who's a good client of yours. You do the same thing, try to get more reviews. Something I do a lot of times for a lot of small businesses that get people who come in once a while, like a repair shop or a restaurant, is as soon as they leave or the next day, you send them an email that's automated, asking them about how their experience was. And it's not an email about information. It's really about extending the email experience. So it's like, hey, my name's Donte. I'm the owner of this repair shop. I saw you came in yesterday. I'd love to hear more about your experience. Mm-hmm. And how you can automate that is outside of just the email. That person says, okay, Donte, let me tell you about my experience. My experience was great, et cetera, et cetera. And then from there, you can automate another email to say, hey, would you like to leave us a review on your Google page? Whatever different review site you can use to add more of those 5-star reviews for you, going to have a huge impact.
Yeah, that's brilliant. Yeah, I also to extending that, I see where you could do that with onboarding. Like, so if they're after they do business with you, to make sure they're
first time customer,
first time
client.
customer, or using it, how to use the thing you just signed up for.
Yep.
And I can see where, because I'm thinking about that now, because now you're triggering this. I like, this might be a personal consultation between you and me, and y'all get to listen because now he didn't trigger some questions I have, right? And but so those are the things that also that makes your business valuable, because you're just not a one man show. You know, you got automation, you got systems, and systems make money, right? Where you want to automate it. Let me ask you this. This is a personal question, but how would you, so let's take that, because this is something I've been thinking about, so I might as well get it answered on the air, is creating, using email to automate referrals.
Yep.
And,
you had another question about it, around it?
Yeah, so let's say I saw somebody one time. He has a system called Robo Referral. So he had an email landing page, and which I thought was interesting. And then it was like you could opt in, but you could forward that page. So you could, if you had somebody, it was like a page you could forward to somebody, so that they would get a free book gift. Where he actually had it integrated, so he would send them a packet of information. So he got their mailing information, so he could send them a physical introductory packet. But I was wondering, I was looking at that going, now how would I do that? You know, how is that? Because I thought that was really cool, but I didn't know how to create a forwarding landing page where I could get information so they could forward it out. That might be too technical, but I'm seeing where you could, if you created that could be automated, so that as you got new people, you could automate the referral. Because what you got to do is build a system to orchestrate referrals. So every day you're getting new people to send you people, so you're not always out beating the bushes for new people.
Absolutely. To answer your question, there's a few different ways you can get that done individually, or you can use all of them together.
Okay.
One of those ways could be like, a very simple way would be once someone has been. So, all right, here's one way. You can have an email set up that goes out to anyone who's a client and they have already left you a review. So it's like, I already know they're happy with the service enough that they're happy with the service that they left a 5-star review. You can have that be something you have triggered within your database, or maybe that's someone that kind of manually keeps an eye on things like that. And then you click that person, send them referral request. You didn't know anyone else in the industry or another business or another person who would be interested in our service or products. And you send it out that way. And then on that thing, you can do a direct reply email, or you can have it set up like a landing page, as you mentioned the other guy had set up. Another way, a little bit more technical, is to have a scoring system in place. So based on certain amount of purchases or length of period someone's been a customer or a client of yours, it'll automatically send out that referral request, which again can be a direct reply email, or it can be a landing page, where you're requesting that information. Those are two ways you can kind of set it up.
That's really cool. So what I want you to do is, I want you, as you hear this, guys, if you're saying, well, listen, I don't have a big business, I just started my, let's name a business. I just started my Legal Shield business, or my Herbalife business, or my longevity business. So how would I use this? And so you can get MailChimp for free, up to 2,000 names. A lot of it's in the tutorials, but what happens, I want you to see that everybody you meet, you need to be able to, stay in touch with them. You want to nurture them, because they're all not ready to do business with you right away. So you have to stay in touch. But you can also, once somebody does join you, buy your widgets, your service, your lotion, your potion, your whatever, you've got to stay in touch with them, because two things, right? These people to sell are people you already sold, and they want to do more business with you if you give them the opportunity with. And then once if they've left you a good review, that's when they're that's the best time to ask them for anybody else that would be a good fit for what you're doing. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely.
Let's talk more about automation. So what else what could else they do to create basically their cash machine? That's what I like you're talking about. It's like get them and using something really simple to grow their profit. Matter of fact, let's do this. Let's go into. So would you say those two were like 2 of the 5, or do you have 5?
Yes, I will list off the 5, and you can talk about whichever one next you like. So I have email marketing.
Yep.
I have upsell and complementary products.
Okay.
I have the use of data to make decisions, develop your revenue forecast, really honing in on the customer data, how you can create value, how are you creating value. Then I have investing in SEO, search engine optimization, and PPC, pay-per-click, Google AdWords, and review and online management.
Okay. All right. So let's start at the top.
Upsell and complementary products and services is really just about taking an extra step when someone has raised their hand and said, we're interested in doing business with you. So whether you have an online website and you're selling, let's say you have Herbalife's a great example because I know they have upsell and complementary products built in to their online platform. So you go on Herbalife to pick a new tea that you're interested in purchasing. And then at the bottom of the web page before you check out, it says here are a list of some other items that complement this thing, which may be the bars or a shake that goes well with it. Or also it may say something like, we can see this a lot of times on like eBay or Amazon. Here's other things that others have purchased who purchased the same product that you're looking at purchasing. Things like that is how you increase the amount of revenue you can generate from one person. So I came to buy $20, but I end up leaving with a cart of $47. And all you did was just make a suggestion.
Right.
And that's so literally you're talking about doubling your income off this one particular person.
And it's not coercion. It's what happens is if their thing is what they're going to get is good for them, then you're doing them a disservice. See, a lot of this stuff you got to get out of your head by not offering them more of it or other things that complement the purchase they just made. And so what you got to say is, how can my small business, and you see it all the time. So you go to McDonald's. Hey, would you like to, was it Wendy's? Would you like the biggie size that? Would you like fries with that? Would you like this with that? I remember I was in college. I used to work at, I don't know if it's still there anymore, Tom McCann shoe store. Right. And so I would, if I showed a pair of shoes, I would, the manager said, okay, listen, I brought them to the counter, and then it was like, I would sell polish and the taps, that you put on the bottom of your shoe to protect the heels. And so that was it, and a shoe tray, if I could sell it. And all of a sudden I'm upselling, or I used to do retail. And if they wanted a shirt, I'm going to get a tie, they can pocket square, or 2 shirts, a tie, pocket square socks. Or if it was a sport coat, my cousin was a master at this. So I learned how to get really good at, and they would feel good. They would come to see her for a pair of pants. They would leave with $400 worth of stuff and feel fantastic about it.
Absolutely.
Damn near a whole new wardrobe, You
see it get used all day, every day inside of retail.
Yeah.
I remember one company when I was in college just starting with marketing. I learned about impulse purchase and how to make the most use out of your cash wrap area. So you get people who are there checking out, but they're looking around. There's other things that are on the around the register for them to grab. You can make suggestions, or they'll just look themselves and pick it up. But you see it in retail all the time, where you go inside the shoe store and you're buying a pair of shoes or heels or whatever it may be, and they're like, hey, there's matching jewelry that can go with it. There's cleaner, as you mentioned, or a shoe tree and things like that. Just an extra little small markup, and it's like, oh, it's an extra $7, $10, $15. Doesn't seem like much to you, and you will use it. And that's just these minor things they add up. I remember when I had a client, it was a piñata store in Providence, Rhode Island, and she had nothing around her cash register, no impulse purchase items. And we did a different design of her store, and we put a lot of those things around the register and in the front, and it increased revenue by 17% within the next month immediately. These are like minor changes. It doesn't cost her extra staff or anything to do those things, but literally just by having customers come in as they normally would, now they're purchasing more items.
Right. So if you 70%, if you're making $100,000, you've just made 117 with no overhead, no staff, no nothing, just by getting more money from the people that came in. So you're increasing customer value is one of the things. How do you do that? Upsell, cross-sell, joint ventures, with other people. So that is an idea. And so what happens is, folks, this is what big businesses do all the time. So if you're a small business, you're a e-commerce, you're a network marketing, what you got to ask is, how can I do that? Don't say, well, this won't work in my business. That's easy. And that's the wrong question. It's really stupid. It's lazy. And so you've got to ask yourself, okay, how can I do this? You've got to learn how to, what they call it, S&D, swipe and deploy, right? And into your business, because business is business. It doesn't matter the industry. And you got to think, as we've talked about in our, 7 Steps of Prosperity series, you got to think through the stuff. That's why, Napoleon Hill's book is called Think and Grow Rich, right? And so you have to think about this stuff, because your number one investment is your business. Okay, so number one is email marketing. Number 2 is upselling. Any other points on upselling? Or we want to go to number 3?
Well, three is really it's based around just honing in on the data that you have. There's an example of this that always comes to mind is a little over a year ago, I started working with this repair shop, and he had 2 different locations. Both locations were $1 million locations. He was doing well, but he just wanted to constantly improve and be better. And one thing I noticed is that he was keeping track of absolutely no data of his customers, other than literally seeing the receipts and the services. But it was physical. It wasn't being reviewed digitally to even make analysis on the data. So we made a switch to a system where he could keep track of all the customers that came in, or emails they received, the services that he provided for them, and how long it took for them to come back for an oil change. So everyone's the normal oil change is 3,000 miles, 3 months. A lot more people have newer vehicles, so it's around 7,000 miles. But people are still driving as frequently. But if he can look at how often this customer keeps coming for an oil change and linking that up directly with the mileage, he can send an email out in advance and say, hey, I noticed that you're, doing this many miles per month, or it looks like you're just about to be on time again for another oil change, or you just did 2 oil changes, so at this point it's time for a tire rotation. There's a coupon for it. Come in this week and save, type of thing. And it just helps to get customers, because oil changes is usually something you can get anywhere. I may be about to take a trip somewhere to Florida or something. I'm like, you know what, I'm by my job, so I'm going to stop at the oil change here instead of going to my normal guy. But if he gets ahead of me before I get an opportunity to go somewhere else, not only am I going to get an oil change with him, I'm also going to get my tires rotated or get my shocks done, because I'm going to take this trip. And, he sees there an opportunity to, capitalize on other services that, are needed.
That they need, that they might find out that will keep them safe. Yeah, those are huge. That is such a good point, because you have to stay top of the mind. And the other thing people don't think about is along that same vein with data is reactivation of, so if you, like, for example, just you stay on the oil change part, and I tell people this, you see this stuff around, you just don't pay attention. So get a Jiffy Lube. If you're not, they'll give you, they are tracking about the mileage. You have the little sticker on your windshield. So that's a reminder. But then if you don't come in around that time, they've like about 90 days, what do you start getting? A postcard. We miss you. That's reactivation post. Automate. We miss you. Come back. 5%, 10% discount, or $5. It's like $5, $10 off, not percent, but $10 off. So that's an ethical bribe to come back in, and you may have just gotten busy. That reminds you to come back in, and so they're not leaving it to chance to you to remember to come back in. See, it's not your client's job, your customer's job to remember you. It's your job to stay top of the mind.
Absolutely.
And you have to automate that because you're not going to do it. Data is everything. That's why you got to have a data base, right? And not an email list, not a list, an Excel list. So I got a spreadsheet with all the names and numbers. That you can't do. That's okay. That's better than nothing. But you can't do any analytics with that.
Yeah.
And we're in the numbers business, folks. You're in the numbers business. You're in the math. We're all in the math business, and which is critical. That's data is everything. So what tips do you have on, let's talk about data for a second. So how do just one do that?
Sure.
What should they be tracking? What are some maybe 3 basic things, key KPIs, key performance indicators that they should be tracking and looking at?
All right. I know social media is always, you love to talk about. It's an aspect of marketing. So I'll touch on that a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
One area that data is, very important. It can be very helpful to you. Is looking at the type of traffic, where it comes from, the various demographics as it pertains to your social media pages.
Mm-hmm.
You'll find in most cases that your Instagram, your Twitter, or your Facebook page, those different demographics, they vary. An example, most of you may be aware of Facebook's and Instagram's ability to run different ads to various audiences. But when you're running these ads, you want to take a look at the data and say, okay, it looks like 35 to 45-year-olds are clicking on this ad more often than others. But then on top of that, you have to look at the same thing and say, let's say 25 to 34-year-olds seem to be the ones who are actually follow through and, taking some action on my website or signing up for something. So these are like minor things that can have all the value to you. So using those same 2 examples, maybe you just want to run some ads just to get more people to like your page. That 35 to 45-year-old range is, that's money for you.
Mm-hmm.
Or if you're actually looking for people to take action and, they're going to be more likely to be customers for you, then you're going to look at that 30, 35-year-old range. And you want to spend more of your budget towards ads that target them because those people are going to give you a better return on investment as, being prospects or customers.
Okay. Because if they like your page, just to carry that, I was thinking about this, then if you've got a business page, then you need to think about Facebook is basically a micro blog, right? So if you can engage people, then when you put something out, more people will see it. Whereas if they're not, you can get them to subscribe to your email or download some lead magnet. Basically what you got to do is you got to create engagement where you're in discussion, when you have people that are, engaging you back and forth and that might be one way what to do it, but you want to look at that because you got to know, if you're fishing, where are the fish that you want to meet? So if you want 25 to 30-year-olds, 45 to 50-year-olds, they're on Facebook. Maybe LinkedIn. So you got to know whereas you don't need to be on every platform. You just need to know which ones where the people that you want to meet are and figure out what problem you can solve for them. Which goes back to your headlines and all that stuff that with the open your email. It's all about the headline. Getting their attention. What are we at? Number 4.
Yeah, number 4 is invest in search engine optimization and pay per click.
Mm-hmm.
So just to touch briefly on that, this is not too much to speak. I mean, obviously there's huge value in that. I think pay per click and keyword ads, they normally do something like $22 per dollar spent in return on investment. But something you have to think about is, as a consumer, if you're like most people, you spend your time when you're looking for anything, you go on Google and you look very specifically for what you're looking for. So Google processes 40,000 search queries. That's 40,000 different searches per second. That's 3.5 billion searches a day. Now, SEO is all about making sure that your website ranks in a place on the first page. So when people are making these different queries about whatever it is that the topic may be, hopefully it's related directly to what your business does, you show up. And the more often you show up, you're more likely people are going to choose you over your competitor or some other website or another business that may be in the area. And that's really what SEO is about. And then the pay-per-click side of things is being able to make sure your website and your business shows up depending on the various keywords or search terms or phrases someone uses. So an example would be like HVAC businesses in New York. If you're an HVAC, company in New York, obviously you want to get the most amount of people to search for, who's searching for an HVAC company in New York, to find you over your competitor up the street or, some other person in your area. And the pay-per-click is a way for you to guarantee that your ad shows. And again, the more people searching, they see you first, you get the business over your competitor.
Yeah, that makes sense. And part of that, if you get good at that, is doing that, and even probably even Facebook ads, is to develop predictable lead generation. Where you've got people, you want to have where all right, I've got this works, because you got to develop marketing assets. So what happens is you want to be able to have, that's an important thing, where if you can develop, so you want to work with somebody, so if you can develop an ad that works and you've got a certain amount of people finding you, then you've got lead generation, you've got conversions, you got your email marketing things going on, and you've got multiple layers of lead generation. So if you've got a good stuff, then you'll have a business you can sleep at night because you always got money coming in. You always got leads happening. And I find that most people don't have that. I mean, I don't have that. Now, really, it's getting better actually, because I tell people, most of the books I read is on marketing, and getting better at communication, really economics, because I'm kind of a nerd, and really getting people to understand that. But I am in the marketing business. I'm a financial educator, and if nobody knows what we're talking about, I can't help anybody. And so you've got to be found. So if you know that you've got a good service, then you've got to let the world know, or a good, and Donte talked about brick and mortar businesses, so we're not talking about, I'm doing info marketing, Amazon drop shipping. He says auto repair shop. If you're listening to this, you can do this with network marketing. You can do this with real estate. You can do this with, a services business, right?
Absolutely.
Because business is business. It all translates. So that's SEO. You got to have a budget for it. Tell me about that. Let's talk about that for a second. So because my perception of Google is expensive. Now, and I could be wrong. That's just my perception. And so I think a lot of people have that. So don't even think about it anymore. At least not smaller businesses. Maybe they shouldn't be. But what say you to that?
All right. So when someone speaks about, in general, like a pay-per-click advertising being expensive. So the thought of it being expensive is really based around typical cost that you find people are paying per click. The benefits of per click, of at least Google Ads search per click, is one, if someone's searching for something very specific, that's someone who's interested in probably making a decision with a very specific search that they made. And that's why the cost is higher than, say, a Facebook ad or something like that. And then even if you're looking at the comparing the two, Facebook ad is going to fall in front of someone's newsfeed while they're not searching for something specific. So, you may find out you can get people to, click on your website and things like that, for $1 or less when you're doing with social media. But if you have someone specifically looking for using, let's just use the repair shop or real estate, I'm looking for a real estate agent. That means I'm looking for someone who can help me sell my home. That's more valuable to you, and that person is more likely to convert into an actual sell or customer or client for you. Even someone you can, grab their information. Maybe they're not ready, but you can nurture them through your email. And that's why you might see a cost per click can be higher. It can be $4. It can be $13. In some industry, especially with large corporations, it's hundreds of dollars.
Mm-hmm.
But, you spend, if you're looking at it like a large corporation, like a pharmaceutical company that just recently got done working with, they're paying a little over $1,000 per click. But more than 50% of the people who clicked and followed through and converted on the landing page they had, they turned into $250,000, $300,000, $400,000 contracts for them. So that, that's how you have to look. You have to look at it
as an investment. Yeah.
Yeah. If you're paying $10 and you can get $100 every time, then it's perfect. It's a great model.
See, that's a good point, because you have to know what's a client worth to you.
Yeah, what's the value of
what's the lifetime value of a customer, and because you can't really make any market decisions till you know that, because then you'll know how much you're willing to pay to get one. So if it costs $25, but a client is worth $3,000 to you, and they stay with you, let's say they're worth $1,000 a year, but they stay with you 5 years, is that worth $25 to get one? So, you know what I mean? And so I don't think a lot of times we know how to do that math. We're not thinking about it. We think in terms of cost. Oh, I don't have any money. Whereas I would rather have somebody, speaking as a financial advisor, I'd have you save some money, and I would rather have you, once you understood your business, do that than I'd have you put it in an IRA somewhere, put it in a solo 401k or something dumb like that. Dumb meaning put it in somebody else's business when you need to be putting it back in your business.
Yep.
And you have to think about your business in that, where I can make strategic investments in my business. And so I think that's a really good point. So I want y'all to, we're going to recap this as we get done, because I want you to think about that. And so what is number 5?
Number 5 is review and online management, just what your reputation is online. Just three quick stats on that. On average, a happy customer tells an average of 9 people about a good experience.
Mm-hmm.
And so when as a poor one, they normally share that with about 16 people, which is, nearly almost twice as much. This is why making every individual service interaction is extremely important. Another one is 90% of consumers read online reviews before visiting a business. So again, I'm searching for something specific because I'm looking to take an action. I'm looking for, a clothing store or whatever it may be. I'm looking for some all-natural hair products, and your business shows up. Now I'm on your Google listing page, or I'm looking in the left column where it has various things about your business, maybe it's Yelp reviews or other pages, and I see a lot of bad reviews. You have 3.5 stars. It's like, I'm probably not going to go there. Let me go try this other place that has 4.5 stars, and there's a lot of positive reviews. I'm probably going to have a better experience there. And that's normally how people make their decisions. And another thing about that, tying into that, is that 85% of consumers trust reviews just as much as a personal recommendation. So, hands down, everyone knows word of mouth is the greatest marketing, tool ever. But those conversations all have to be, more than likely have to be spurred by, they happen because of you. So you have good reviews, so people are talking about your business. So when someone goes to your website, this is a great place to go to. It's a great place to have dinner. It's family oriented place, or this is a great place for late night. Those type of things. It means everything. You want to continue the conversation about your company and your business. You just want to make sure it's positive as possible. And you can use all these different topics I mentioned earlier.
Wow, that's so I guess you could tie in the I guess I can say it all ties back in. So the email marketing, you can ask for a review and show them how to do it. What about if you get a bad review? What should you be doing to proactively manage your reputation?
Two things. To be proactive. There's a proactive and kind of a reactive way of going about it. One way that I employ, it's actually part of one of the packages that we offer, is to be able to, again, like I said, as soon as someone leaves your business with a service, you follow up with them and find out how their service was. And you can have an automated email that has two different boxes. One side, let's say the green one, it's got a smiley face, a good review. They click on that link, it goes directly to Yelp or wherever you want to send them for them to do a 5-star review. If you have someone that had a bad experience, it goes directly to an email or a form where they can fill out exactly what happened. Then it goes to you as the business owner or the manager, whatever the case may be, to then follow up on that person and try to resolve it before they get a chance to give you 1 star or, tell those 16 people about the bad experience that they had. There's very often that no one does that. This is something I talk with clients a lot of times, that they don't even pay attention to the reviews that are coming in on these various sites. Or if they do, they're only responding to the negative ones. Like, oh, this isn't, I remember this person, and, they say something bad as well. Like, you have to keep remembering that you're representing your brand and your business, and you want to keep it as positive as possible. A reactive thing to that would be, once, like I just mentioned, once someone does leave a negative review, normally it's a public thing and they can see if you respond to it. So respond to it, in a professional manner, try to resolve it from there. And those are things that when people are reviewing and they see a bad review, because both people look at both. They say, all right, what are the great reviews? What are people saying consistently that's positive? And then the negative reviews, is there some consistency there? Is it the service is always poor over and over and over again? All right, then that's what we can expect. And so you get ahead of that, or, as soon as someone makes that bad review, you follow up, try to resolve it, and you speak, positively and respectfully when you do make a comment.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Yeah, so that's those are I think that if you can sit down and hopefully we'll try to organize those 5 things in the show notes, and you just work through it. Look at your business. I don't care if it's a side hustle, or if you're listening to this, you've got a brick and mortar business, you got a professional services business, folks. You got to schedule time to work on the business, and sometimes you need to reach out, to somebody for help, because at some point it's worth it just to say, look, I'm not a graphic designer, I'm not an email whatever, I'm good at my thing, and listen, can you do this so I can keep going out making money, and you can just keep fixing my business and bringing up my bottom line profit? So that's why you call Donte. So Donte, what are, I guess, some resources, books you like, other tools? We talked about MailChimp that you like, that people should be looking at. What are some of your favorite tools?
Let me see. MailChimp's great for email. What is it? If you try to tackle the SEO and the pay-per-click thing by yourself, Spyfu, SPYFU.com is a great website that will show you what your competitors are doing, and also how much they're paying for the Google ads that they're doing. So you can see how much traffic's coming, how well they're performing, and if that's a keyword or a phrase you may want to invest in as well. And that's just something you can do. It's a free tool as well to take a look at things like that.
Is there a way to check keywords out? Just not to, you said another key thing of what's a good keyword. How do people find you? Or what keyword is like what the people would be thinking about when they search to find you? Is that what a keyword is?
Yes. Keyword, yeah. It's a specific term or phrase someone uses to within the query to find out whatever they're searching for. So it's like a keyword would be, keyword phrase would be, like I mentioned earlier, HVAC business in New York. And that's, in most businesses, that's something you'll see 1 million people are bidding on because it's the most direct request of someone who's most interested in taking action on whatever service or product they're looking for. Like shopping center near me, those type of things. Salon near me, barber near me, or a specific city or town.
And most searches are mobile too, so they need to be able to find it on their phone. Yeah, so because they're out in the street, they go, well, I need to get some, this, or I'm out, and how do I get a good contractor or whatever,
64% of searches are all mobile. So I mean, again, this is, if I'm on my phone, I'm probably like really trying to take action right now. If I'm searching for a repair shop or a salon, something happened to the house, I need a plumber, whatever the case may be. I'm looking for a fitness center. I need a workout person to help me. I'm trying to lose weight. Where can I go? It's a search immediately.
That's what people do.
You want to make sure you're there.
Yellow Pages, right? I'm saying Yellow Pages. Myself, because I don't know what the heck that is. And but that's, you just Google it. Where is Google? Tell me about the nearest. What's the best pizza place in my area? And or if you're traveling, same thing, and then you're gonna look at the reviews, or you're looking at hotels. And my wife is religious about reviews of the place where people stayed at, which is on Hotwire or something. And so I see that that's critical. Yeah, the reviews are major. Wow, that's a major. And see, these are all little things, folks. Little hinges swing big doors.
Yes.
So let's see. So got a couple tools. What? So any as we close, I want you to give any parting words of wisdom for them to help them grow their business. So with these things, they could get 25% growth, and then tell them any resource you have for them, or how they can get into contact with you, Donte.
Sure. I mean, each of these areas individually can actually get you 25% growth in your business within those 90 days, or you can use them collectively, to get a consistent growth of 25% over and over again. But just a few quick notes to share. Things I see a lot of small businesses kind of miss out on is one, signing up for Google Analytics and adding that to your website. Google Analytics is a code that you add to your website. If you're not sure how to do it, I'd be happy to share it with you for free and, get it set up for you. But Google Analytics will look at your website and help you grab some of that data that I was mentioning earlier, the demographics and the where and how people found you on your website, how much traffic you get, things like that. Once you have that data, you can then make better decisions with your business. Tying back into the website, outdated copyrights. When your copyright is outdated, two bad things happen. One, someone may come to your website and think, oh, they're outdated. This business probably isn't running anymore. Or two, Google sees the outdated copyright and basically does the same thing, and you show up less in search. Another thing is, a lot of people miss out by not having a social presence. Now, most businesses, what I mean by that is most businesses have social media pages, but they're not active. And it's the same scenario as with outdated copyright. When you're not active on social media and I'm looking for things, it makes me believe that maybe this business isn't as active, or maybe they're not even in existence anymore. And it's the same thing Same thing with Google search. So there's no new activity. So your social media pages won't show up in searches. The same thing for your website.
Mm-hmm.
Not paying attention to reviews. Take a look at those things. If someone leaves a good review, comment. Another awesome thing you can do is, just copy and paste it on your social media with an image and say, thanks, Terry or Tommy, for the 5-star review. Helps people who are part of your audience in social to see it, getting constant 5-star reviews. And it also normally leads to them doing the same thing because I saw others and it's something that you appreciate within it. And lastly, the last two things. One, website, again, not being a very good website. Most importantly, you want to make sure it's easy to navigate, and that includes having a website that's responsive. Responsive means no matter the size of my screen, whether it's a laptop, computer, or cell phone, I can be able to go through your website, read things clearly, and get where I need to go. And then lastly,
that's major.
Make good use of your budget. As we mentioned, you may be doing AdWords or social media ads, or maybe you have radio ads and things like that going on. Get the data and find out how successful those things are and what's the return on investment of those. You can best allocate the funds that you have available for marketing.
Yeah, because you might not need to use new money. You can just reallocate stuff that's not working and use that same money somewhere else. Yeah. So a lot of times it's just analyzing what you're doing, and you can just have the same dollars, but just put them to more efficient use and grow your revenue. And, I was listening to a Russell Brunson video. So those who can spend the most money to acquire a customer win. So you need to be able to invest in, getting better serving, better, all that stuff. Because all those things layer onto each other. If you can do a little bit of all of the 5 things that he's actually mentioned more than that, gave a lot of value. Thank you for that. So that you mentioned, you can create what Jay Abraham calls geometry. See, we have where you got layers of growth growing upon each other. So not just arithmetic, but geometry. You want to get geometric growth. You can get multiples of growth. And so, but you got to have the data. You got to have multiple things. You've got to test. And a lot of this stuff you need help because I know you're thinking like, I got to get in, open. I'm working. And so most of us are too busy working to do all this wonderful stuff. You might know how to do it, but you're too tired. You don't have time to step out of your business and think. But you do have to, I take a Friday and I try to invest a couple hours where I work. I don't see clients. I work on the business. I think about systems. I work on my follow-up, prepping for next week, making sure my newsletters go out and that type of stuff. And so you have to invest that kind of time. And so you have to look at your business. And again, do you want to grow? It's not your customer's job to remember you. It's yours to make sure they remember you. And so you got to do all this stuff that he's laid out there. So Donte, how can they tell us a little bit about, you told us a little about your firm, but what you can, do you have any, you say they can contact you for the Google Analytics, anything that your checkup that you do, or how would they get in touch with you if they wanted more information?
Sure. On my website, ConglomerateMA.com. That's M as in marketing, A as in agency.com. We offer a free consultation as well as a marketing audit. We'll look at your website and the various things you have going on with your business and give you a good report card of, same scenario like we have here today, different things you can do that will have a good impact on your business that you can implement, before even hiring us. We just want to be as useful as possible, provide value where we can, with the small businesses in the area. So again, it's ConglomerateMA.com. And anytime, give us a call, send us a contact form. Our advice is always free.
Okay. What's that number? Is there a contact number or email you want to?
Yes. Phone number is 856-302-4007. Or you can visit the website and drop a contact form.
Okay. Perfect. Well, listen, folks, Donte shared some valuable stuff. So the thing is, I would go back And if you're on the driving or if you're on a treadmill listening to this and you're a business owner, I would get somewhere at your desk with a notepad and replay this stuff and jot some of this stuff down, and definitely, reach out and take advantage of that marketing audit. If you got a little bit of a bigger, we say small business, but a small, bigger business where you've got some revenue going on. Okay. And, so definitely reach out. And Donte, I want to thank you for your time today and sharing with our audience some, some really cool tips, some little things that are big things. And that's what I like. Keep it simple and things that are implementable that they could do without calling you. Now, I think most of knowing and implementation are two different things. So sometimes it's like, look, just go ahead and call somebody and get this stuff done for you. But I want you to know these are things that you can do, right? So, Donte, thank you for jumping on a call with us. I'm very excited about
having me.
He's been doing this for 10 years. We started a new firm, so I'm excited. About your. It's not a new business because you've been doing it, but you started up. What would you say? A new firm, a new agency?
Yeah, complete. Just new business, new clientele. We're not working with large corporations anymore.
Mm-hmm.
We're in your neighborhood.
We're in neighborhood, so we want to work with businesses like you, Main Street, because the business is there, folks, and you're not going to see. Let me end with this, because you can't be looking for some president or some Congress or whatever to grow the economy. That cannot be your marketing plan. Okay. You've got to grow your business. You got to grow your personal economy. You've got to take market share and take control of your business, and understanding that, why should they do business with you, and begin to articulate that and articulate the value that you can bring to the marketplace. And then you begin to integrate that with all the stuff that we're talking about. Why should they choose you? How can you benefit them? And you focus on growing. You build your email list. You increase your conversions, and you will have a positive experience with your business. We want you to build financial independence. And the keys of the kingdom, folks, is your marketing. Thank you. And folks, let's have a prosperous day. We thank you for listening to another episode of the Practical Wealth Show. Thanks a lot, Donte.
Thanks for listening to Practical Wealth. To access the show notes and resources, go to practicalwealthshow.com. To get your questions on the show, go to practicalwealthshow.com. This show is for entertainment purposes only. Before you make any investment decisions, consult a professional. This show is copyrighted by Practical Wealth. Written permission must be granted before syndication or rebroadcasting.